So I am well aware of what this looks like. It looks like a mess. But what it is a book haul. This is actually a book unhaul, but we're not going to talk about that. But most of you know Barnes& and Noble did their little 50% off all hardcover book sale, and I went in on that, and then I have Christmas books, and I have books that I thrifted, and I have books from subscription boxes, and I have one book that I just bought because I really wanted to read it. So we're gonna run through all the books that I bought at the start of the year because money, that's not a problem. It's not an object at all. For the sake of my own sanity, I'm just gonna start with book of the month stuff because that's one of the smallest piles that I have. So first book that I have is A Flicker in the Dark. I think this was my November book of the month. It's a thriller. It's suspense. It's about this girl and she's getting ready for a wedding, and like she was one of the only people who like knew something about girls who went missing in her town. I don't know. I just picked the thriller option off of whatever they give me, to be honest with you. So I'm behind on this one. I actually ended up reading my Fairy Loot book instead of this because I'm subscribed to both. So, you know, time management, not my forte. So we'll get back to this eventually at some point this year. And then this one, Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. This was my book of the month for this month. It's about girls who go to an island and like there are secrets and people start showing up dead or turning up dead. I wasn't a super huge fan of The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins or The Ex-Hex, which is ghost written or written under a pen name by Rachel Hawkins. But, you know, this premise seemed interesting, so I'm hoping that it's slightly better than those two books that I read by her. And then we have this one, which is just wall banger. You know, I'm a sucker for a good, like, I hate you, you're really annoying, I'm gonna fuck you though kind of book. And this is like so smutty that I can't even put it on my Goodreads. Like I'm afraid to put this kind of content on my Goodreads. So this is gonna be one of those things that I read secretly and tell nobody about except the 3 people who watch my videos consistently. Shout out to you, thank you. Then I have some stuff that I thrifted. I went to Savers like 2 days after Christmas, right when people were starting to donate all of their old books, and I have some book of the month books and this one random book. So this one is The Reading List by Sarah Nisha Adams. It's about this girl and her grandfather and how they bond over reading. My grandfather's really important to me. I'm not gonna get emotional, that'd be dumb. He's really important to me, so I wanted to read this one to see if it's something that I could actually like give to him that he could read. So there's that. And then Little Fires Everywhere, but the Book of the Month edition. I don't know much about this. I just know that the television show came out and people were really obsessed with it. And again, I'm a sucker for a good thriller or suspense novel, so hopefully this will kind of scratch that itch for me. And then we have Girl A by Abigail Dean. Again, Book of the Month version. I got this for like $3. All of these were like $3 a piece. This is about a girl who escapes from like a culty situation and it comes back to haunt her somehow. So really, really interested in this one. I might actually pick this one up and read it because tomorrow I have a snow day. I'm not teaching, so maybe I'll curl up by the invisible fireplace with this one. I don't have COVID. I just ate like spaghetti and meatballs, and for some reason it just makes me want to cough. I'm gonna do Fairy Loot next. So Fairy Loot this month, I can't remember what the theme was. It was like Dance with Death or something. So it was a double book box. The first book, well, not the first book, the extra book is The Coldest Touch by Isabel Sterling. It's a vampire romance. I'm pretty sure it's LGBTQ. I want to say it's sapphic. I'm not 100% sure. But it's definitely a girl situation. So excited to read this because I love vampires. I'm one of those kids that was like really into Twilight. I don't think I have my Twilight books behind me on my shelf. This is one of my 3 bookshelves. We're in the process of moving the other ones back in here. We shoved them out for the Christmas tree, which is also why there are books everywhere. But regardless, excited about this one. And then the actual book for not Book of the Month for Fairy Loot was Year of the Reaper. Not sure what this is about, but it's like stunning to look at. It's got this foiled cover. The edges are like black sprayed edges. Like it's insane. It came with a book plate. I'm not gonna stick it in there. I can't do that. It makes me feel really uncomfortable. Like, what if I stick it crooked or something? And then there's art on the inside dust jacket, as well as foiled art on the actual hardcover book. So, one thing that I do love about Fairy Loot is, like, they don't cut corners with their books. They're always, like, really decked out and worth the money. Like, I would pay the $40-50 for just the book, to be honest with you, and it comes with all the other stuff in the box, too, so definitely worth getting on the waiting list if you aren't subscribed to Fairy Loot. It is hard to get in there, though. I was on that waiting list for, like, 6 months before they finally opened up subscriptions again, so. Now we're gonna go through all the books that I bought when Barnes & Noble had their sale, starting with the one that wasn't on sale, and then moving through the other ones, and then we'll wrap up with my, what's it called? Christmas presents. There were quite a few of them. I got quite a few books for Christmas, which was really nice and exciting. So first I have this book that I've actually already read, never opened it, the Taboo Trilogy. This is by Ken Nimura. So sorry. I hope he's not watching this. He's not, but like imagine. I enjoyed it. I really liked the art in it. I liked the way that the color was done. I thought it was going to be spookier than it was, and I think that's why I rated it at like 3.5, 4 stars, because I wanted like actual like horror folktales, not like fun ones that you would tell your children at bedtime. But still, really good read. Definitely worth it. This was the first book that I read this year, actually. I'm up to 4 books for the year so far, which is crazy because it's January 6th. The book that I got next that was actually on sale was The Push. This is by Ashley Audrain. It's about this woman's relationship with her 2 children. I feel like this one is gonna hurt, because it's about like the differences, I think, between her relationship with her daughter and her son, and that's a little too close to home for me. But I've heard really, really good things about it, so looking forward to it. And also, like, look at this cover. Like, butterfly, but also silhouette of faces, but also the Rorschach test. Like, girl. Then I have The Prison Healer, which I've heard really good things about. Basically, when I went to Barnes & Noble, I just walked through and I was like, okay, I've touched this twice this year. I might as well buy it now. I've ended up buying like 10 books, and it was something like $100. It was not bad at all. And then I did go to a second Barnes & Noble, but I don't think I bought anything at that one. But anyway, I digress. The Prison Healer, it's about this girl. She has to keep this queen alive for these trials that she's going through. I've heard really, really good things about this one. I also have, like, the little, like, Fairy Loot wallet that they put in a box, like, my first ever Fairy Loot box. So it was weird to me because I had never heard of the book before, and then I walked into Barnes & Noble, and, like, my wallet was out in my hands like a little weirdo. And I saw this, and I was like, oh my god, that looks just like my wallet, and then I remembered. We love a scatterbrained human being. But yeah, this is another one that I might actually sit down and read tomorrow. I read really, like, really quickly. Like, too quickly, to the point where I'm not really, like, enjoying or absorbing things. And I have a snow day, so it's feasible that I could, like, knock out 3 books tomorrow if I really wanted to, and it really depends, you know? Then I have The Soulmate Equation by Christina Lauren. I just read The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I really enjoyed that. And I heard that this is, like, their second strongest book out of the set or whatever that they've done. People kind of go half and half with this author, or this pair of authors. They're like, it could be really great, couldn't be great. So I'm hoping that this one is really good, because the premise is cute. Like, the whole will match you based on DNA thing. It's very Black Mirror, but make it rom-com, you know? So, that one. Also, like, the bright yellow of this, it continues onto the actual hardcover, and I appreciate that kind of aesthetic. This is one that I'm really excited about, because if you watched my 2021 reading wrap-up, The Return by Rachel Harrison was up there for me in terms of, like, fantastic books. It was one of the only books I read during the year that actually scared me. So this is her second or third, I don't know, this is the next book that she wrote. It's called Cackle. It's witchy, it's small towny, I'm hoping it's a little bit gay. Very excited to read this one. I keep going, like, maybe I'll read this tomorrow, maybe I'll read that tomorrow. I'm gonna have to, like, put these in, like a randomizer and, like, have Google pick for me, because this one might actually be the one that I pick up. I say right before picking up Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I'm going to talk about it in the stack of books that I got for Christmas, but I recently read Daisy Jones and the Six. I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo earlier last year, and I'm obsessed with the way that this author writes. Everything she does is kind of like a gut punch. Like, you find yourself so engrossed in these characters' lives, and there's always a moment in her books where I have to stop and like put it down, and I'm like, I can't believe she did that. I can't believe she did that. And I've heard nothing but good things about this, so I'm really, really, really excited to get this one, and to actually crack it open and read it. It's also just like a beautiful cover. Like, it's the yellow and the blue, and it's so pretty. So we'll see who ends up winning that battle for what am I gonna read tomorrow. The Ballerinas by Rachel Kapelke Dale. This is just like, oh my god, there's scandal in the ballet studio. I was a dancer for like years, too many years. So anything that's kind of like thriller, mystery, suspense, and ballerinas is ideal for me. So looking forward to this one too. There were a lot of really great books on sale at Barnes & Noble, to the point where I was like, I need to leave this building. Like, and they had the baskets out. They never have the baskets out at my Barnes & Noble. You always have to like carry all your books around, and normally my husband carries my books for me. But I had a basket and it was filling up, and I was like, oh man, like we have to leave. Like, we gotta go now. It was tempting. I didn't even make it through all of the like adult romance section before I was like, I have to go. I just walked through like the beginning sale, and then like up to the like YA section, and at that point I was like 8 or 9 books in, and I was like, no, we gotta leave. But anyway, continuing on, Nobody Somebody Anybody by Kelly McClory. It's about this maid, and she's trying to become a nurse. I don't know. It was cute. I like the cover. I picked it up a couple times. I put it back down because for like, I don't know, $28, yeah, $27, I was like, I don't think I can justify that. But you know what I can justify? $13.50. Yeah. Beautiful World, Where Are You by Sally Rooney, and this is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I don't know jack about this book. I've just heard people talk about it, and I know that Taylor Swift likes this author, and I'm obsessed with Taylor Swift, so I picked it up for 50% off, and I guess we'll see if it's as good as everybody says it is. I'm really, really picky about my books, so if I ever rate something at like a 4, that might be like a regular person's 5. Just like, keep that in mind. And then this one, this is actually the only book I picked up at the other Barnes & Noble now that I think about it. The First Day of Spring by Nancy Tucker. First of all, this cover, like, look at this cover. The way that the blue on the black, oh, oof. If I could have one other career in life, it would be like book cover designer. So this is about this girl, and she like kills somebody when she's 8, and she like lives with that secret, and then it comes back to haunt her in her adulthood and her adult life. And I am so excited to read it. Like, I feel like even if I hate it, I'm still gonna want to keep it just because the cover is so beautiful and the premise is so wild to me. Like, you always hear about these kids who like do horrible things, but they always kind of like get brushed aside, like, oh no, like he didn't mean to kill that squirrel, he's a child. So I'd love to see like what it looks like for this to really like bite somebody in the ass, you know. So that was my Barnes & Noble section of my haul. This is a lot of books. And then I have books that I got for Christmas. So the first 2 are from my husband. The last 2 or 3, I'm missing one. The last 2 or 3 are from my mother-in-law, and a couple of them are from my friends from work and in real life. Oh, here it is. That's the one that it's already like in the D-stash pile because I hated it. So just starting with what my husband got me. Beast and Beauty by Soman Chainani. I am Indian. I should be better at this. This is a fantastic collection of fairy tales. They're retellings of fairy tales. They are not typical. They're diverse. It's queer. It's got people of color. It is absolutely fantastic. I cannot recommend it enough. If you are going to pick up like one book out of this whole situation, this one. Like, especially if you're like looking for ways to kind of integrate different variations of folktales into a classroom, for example, like this is how you do it. Fantastic book. Cannot speak highly enough about this one. He also got me The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. I'm a huge, like a massive Grady Hendrix fan. I've read this one. I've read My Best Friend's Exorcism. I have the Southern Book Club's Guide to Vampire Hunting, whatever that one's called, and I have the rock and roll one. It's actually right behind me. We Sold Our Souls. I also have Horror Store, which I loved. I was obsessed with that when I read it. I like couldn't put it down. This is also really, really strong. The plot twist in this, I almost guessed it. I was really close, and then there was like a secondary plot twist, and it was like, oh, got him. But really, really good book. I actually finished this yesterday because it was so, so good. I just read it in one sitting when my kids were testing at school. I was like, you know what, nobody talk to me. I'm just gonna finish this. And then we have a couple books that my mother-in-law got me. I think my husband picked these out, and I think he picked them off of my Amazon wish list, but my Amazon wish list has not been updated since legitimately like 2018. So some of these are old. The One Memory of Flora Banks, I hated this book. Rip to Emily Barr. Honestly, I'm sure you wrote better books later. But this is the most frustrating thing I've ever read in my life. I forced myself to finish it because I was at 69 books for the year for 2021. That was 2020 for a second. And I couldn't end with 69 for obvious childish reasons. So I like made myself finish this, and I wish I hadn't. It's literally, you saw it. It was like over here in the like donate pile because I couldn't do it. No thank you. Similar situation with Stay Sweet by Siobhan Vivian. I thought it was gonna be cuter. It really is just a girl who is doing all of this work to save an ice cream stand for a hot guy, like literally for him because he owns it. Like she does all the work and he takes all the credit, and I hated that. And they don't even really like end up together at the end. And I thought like when it came out, what, like 3 years ago, I thought it was gonna be a lot cuter than it was. Especially with this cover and like the concept of like, oh my god, an ice cream stand, you know, like the donut books that have been coming out recently. It wasn't. I am undecided about whether or not I'm gonna actually donate it. I might. I'm not sure. Might work well in like an 8th grade classroom. And then I have In the Event This Doesn't Fall Apart by Shannon Lee Berry. Shannon Berry is a YouTuber, or she was a YouTuber. She works pretty heavily for like Crohn's disease awareness. She's an advocate. This is really cute. This is a book of prose about like everything she felt when she was dating her boyfriend for the first year. And it's everything she wrote for him, which actually inspired me to write my own book that I'm working on, which is coming along. It's coming. It was okay. I mean, for me, I follow her really heavily on Instagram. I follow her social media, so I already, like, I knew enough context to really, like, get this book and, like, feel it, like, in my chest, you know? But for people who aren't really familiar with her or her relationship or her life, it might be difficult to kind of keep track. So, you know, like a solid 3.5. The writing is lovely, it's pretty, but if you don't have the context that she needs you to have, you're not going to really understand it. So, and then I have 2 books. One of these is from one of my coworkers. She got me this for Christmas. She took it right off my TBR, bless her soul. This is Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I talked about Taylor Jenkins Reid like 5 minutes ago. Fantastic author. This book is about a girl who joins this rock band and kind of like turns everything on its head, and there's romance involved, and it's like forbidden romance, and it's just very, very good. Highly recommend that you read it. And then the last book I have is The Witches of New York, which was gifted to me by one of my close friends. We did a book swap. I sent her Honey Girl and she sent me this one. And it's almost like the same premise as like The Lost Apothecary, in the sense of like women taking on an apprentice in their business. And you know, chaos ensues. But I'm really excited about this one. It's just like, it's super long. So it might be something that I can't really get to until like February break when I have time, but really excited to dig into it. So yeah, that's it. I don't even know how many books that was, but it looks a lot less chaotic now that it's not stacked up. If you want me to go through like my unhaul, I can do that. Just leave a comment and let me know. Most of this is actually gone already. I had like stacks high, but I had people come into the house, like my friends and such, for the holidays, and I was like, literally take what you want. This little stack is actually going to a coworker of mine. So like, yeah, if you want to see what's left afterwards, I guess. But that's all that I have. Like the video, comment on the video, share it, subscribe to my channel, all the good stuff. I have book content coming up, which should be fun. I'm reading a bunch of really interesting stuff for my grad program, and I also just finished reading some pretty good books. I've read 4 already this year, and by the time this video posts, I'll probably have read like 7. So, you know, content's coming. But other than that, I guess that is that. I will see you on the flippity flop Goodbye.